wanted you to share this other story, how God used one word to convey an entire message to a woman about a Monet painting.
Yeah, this was fascinating. I mean, this just begins to show you the depth of God. This lady posted on Facebook. I don't know this lady. I think she's from a foreign country by the look of her name. But I'm in a couple of dream interpretation groups. And so sometimes I'll just peruse through there. And if a dream grabs me, I'll feel like God will say, stop, look at this one. And so this lady said, I don't remember my dream at all. But as I was waking up, I heard God say, you are my Diamonet. So it was one word. It was the word Diamonet. What is Diamonet? And people were posting in the interpretation, shine bright like a diamond, girl. And I'm just like, that's a song. It's great. It's not an interpretation. It could be part of one. Mm-hmm. But as I was reading through the comments, I'm just like, nah, like nothing is resonating with my spirit. And so I'm like, okay, God, you need to help me on this. What does this dream mean? And so the first thing I hear is look at the name. And I'm like, the name? Diamonet. I mean, she spelled it wrong. It's Diamonet. And then all of a sudden I was like, Diamonet? Like as in Claude Monet? Like, so now I'm intrigued. Now I'm like, okay, now there's historical, artistic, application of it. I'm like, I got to look. So I felt like God said, look it up. I don't do this all the time. But so I Googled DIA Monet. And I was living in Toledo, Ohio at the time, and 40 minutes away from me was the city of Detroit. And in downtown Detroit, there is the Detroit Institute of the Arts, DIA. Never heard of it before, didn't know it was there. Well, it was interesting because within the last 4 months of when this lady had that dream, they have one Monet, and it's a Monet that they bought from the artist himself. It was painted in 1879. They bought it in 1929, and they've owned it since. And so it's like the pride and joy of their fine arts exhibit is this Monet. So they wanted to have a Monet exhibit. Well, if you have a Monet exhibit and you only have one Monet, you got to borrow other Monet paintings from all your friends and other museums, right? But they didn't want to just put this on the wall because it was their painting. And so they put it in the center of the room with all the other Monets on the wall. And this one was in a walk-around case where they could walk around it. And it's the famous painting. They call it Gladioli. And it's like got a lady in, I think it's a red dress and a blue umbrella, walking by a beautiful flower pot with these super tall flowers. And they named it for the gladioles in the flower pot. But as they pulled it out, now again, this painting was painted in 1879. As they pulled this painting out for this display that happened just 4 months ago, 40 miles away from where I was, they looked at the inscription on the back and they said, oh my gosh, we named this painting wrong. He never intended to name this painting for the flowers. It's supposed to be La Florida something, which means the beautiful flower pot. And I'm like, what are the chances that this painting's existed like 100 and something, like 130 years? And just within the last 4 months, they found out that the identity of the painting is all wrong.
Yeah, and they judged it the wrong way. They judged the flowers instead of the flower pot.
Yeah, it was like totally like mind blown, like, but it's like, what does this mean for this lady? And God says again, look at the name. And so I look at her name, and her last name was like Viella. And so I look up Viella, and Viella means veiled or hidden. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole thing about the Monet is for her personally. And so I wrote her this message. I included the article. I included the picture of the painting. I told her the whole story I just told you. And I said, listen, a lot of people see you as a beautiful person because you have aesthetic appeal. But God wants you to know that the way that he's designed you and named you, your true identity is you're a carrier of his glory. You're not just a beautiful face. You're somebody that can carry and handle the glory of God. And this is your identity. And her mind was just absolutely blown.